Welcome to another video that's going to give you so much information right now that 0.4% of Australian investors only know about. Now, this is something that if you want to be in the top category of the most successful investors that understand property markets, this is something that you need to watch now, and it's something that's going to give you so much value because this is not something that gets spoken about on podcasts or gets written about in a book. This is something that people keep to themselves, and I'm going to show you this because this is something that you need to know. But more importantly, if I can help you and you can learn from this, it's going to make you a better investor moving forward. Now, I'm going to be talking about a thing called the 5-year boom window. What is a 5-year boom window? It's where you're going to get growth, consistent growth for up to 5 years, and then you're going to see a plateau in the market or a dip in the market, and then it can continue that trend moving forward. Now, this is something that you need to understand because we can't time the market. We don't have a crystal ball and we can't time the market. But we can make an informed decision and see where a market is moving by doing analysis, and then get in the market at the very beginning and then ride that wave of capital growth moving forward. The majority of investors don't take this in consideration because they do not understand this, and it's something that doesn't get spoken about. So let's get into it and let me show you exactly what you need to know. Now, this is a 5-year boom window like I've spoken about. And in the 5-year boom window, every LGA, which is a council area, so you live in an area, there's a council that runs that city. Now, that LGA, there's normally 2 boom markets that will happen, or 2 boom phases, I call it. Every 15 to 20 years in between that, in between those years, there's going to be 2 massive boom phases. Okay, and there's normally not 3. There hasn't really been 3 boom phases. There is a couple unicorn markets out there that have done that. But majority of markets in today's society it's a 2-year boom phase. Now, what this consists of is consistent growth in those first 5 years. In those consecutive years, you're going to get that 5 years of maximum growth. After the 5 years, it's not like it's not going to grow, but what's going to happen, there will be a slowdown, there'll be a reset. Okay, it can be trending downwards or sideways. And then what happens is then it can continue its growth. Now, it can continue its growth maybe a year or 2 or 3 afterwards. After that, every market is different. So I'm going to show you exactly what you need to look out for and show you some evidence base of histories of different markets so you can make an informed decision. Now, imagine you're getting into a market in its year 2, 3 or 4 growth phase. And then what happens is the market starts to dip and it starts to slow down. You've costed yourself hundreds of thousands of dollars in equity. Not just that, when that starts to dip, when the market starts to dip, normally the rental market will follow that trend as well. So you are costing yourself capital growth and cash flow. Now, how can you make a great informed decision and still be on top moving forward and investing in a downward market? Because people think when the whole market drops in Australia, every market in Australia drops, which it doesn't. It's been proven time and time again. Why? Because there's different economic drivers, which I'm not going to touch on this video. That's a video where you're going to get more access to after this. Now, this is something that's important because each video contributes and compacts with each other. So let's get into it. So I'm going to talk about Frankston. It's a market in Melbourne, okay, 40 kilometers southeast of Melbourne on the beach. This is its 5-year boom window. It started in 2013 to 17. 78% growth of capital year, 78% of growth. Now, as you can look at this chart, now look at my mouse here. You got from 2013 to 17 or 18. You can see there's 5 years of consistent growth. Okay, and then you start to see a slow reset. 2019 started to, or 2000 after 2017, you start to see a slow reset. So for 2-3 years, the property market really done nothing from 2018 to 20. And so, as you can see, you want to be getting in at the very beginning of 2013 and then ride that wave of capital growth because that's 78% of growth in that time frame. Okay, and so that market the property nearly doubled in the space of 5 years, which is extraordinary. Okay, so this is some evidence, and as you can see, this trend, the property market just growing from 2013 going up, and then there was a downward trend, and then as you can see, it's continued again now. Now I want to talk about Gympie. Here's another market, regional town, 170 kilometers north of Brisbane, past the Sunshine Coast. As you can see, this market has done nothing. Just trended sideways. In 2011, this is when the market has started its growth phase. Sorry, 2020. This is when the market has started its growth phase. And this is the time you want to be getting in. You probably want to be getting in 2020, if not 19. And I'll show you exactly how you're going to read this by just not looking at graphs. You've got to be looking at other artificial intelligence, which I'll show you and you'll learn. But this is important because as you can see, you can just see a straight growth phase. And this market's doing so well. It's not a market you probably should be investing in right now because you've missed out on that growth. And this market, there's a lot of fundamentals happening here, a lot of infrastructure projects, a lot of economic drivers driving it, a lot of movement of people going there, a lot of things happening, creation of jobs. There's a whole bunch of things, government policies, etc. And so this market here, it's doing extremely well, but I wanted to show you of a start of a boom phase. Another one here is Hobart. Hobart from 2012 to 2018, 66% capital growth in that 5-year time frame. As you can see, if we look from 2012 onwards, the market just shot up. And this was the best time to get into Hobart, and it's still doing well. As you can see, imagine you got in 2016. You probably would have heard the hype about Hobart, 2016, maybe 17, which people do, because it's always delayed in the news articles and on TV. They get into the market, what happens? The market's done nothing since the last 3 years, from 2018 to 20. So what happens then? You look at it now, it started again, but you missed out in those years. If you got in at the right time, imagine your property grows 14% in the first year, then it grows a bit more the next year or the following year, and it keeps continuing. Within year 1 or 2, you're going to be able to release equity, use that money, and buy another property moving forward. So as you can see, this is super important, and this is something that you need to know, because you're going to cost yourself hundreds, if not millions of dollars in growth. And this is something that you need to understand, and I'm going to show you exactly moving forward with more videos coming on. You click the link, fill in your details, there's more access to more videos. You're going to get a clear understanding of this type of things, but how can you find this beforehand? How can we make an informed decision before this happens? How can we get there at the beginning of the market? That's a great question. And something that if you want to know, fill in your details. I'm going to take you to the next video. Something that you're going to learn and you're going to understand what 0.4% of Australian investors know about and use to their advantage to build a successful property portfolio.